Hey friends, Dr. B here. You might be constipated and not even know it. Constipation can show up in a lot of ways, and often you don't realize that's what it is. Look, you could literally poop every single day and still be constipated. You could even have diarrhea, and believe it or not, it could actually be constipation. I'm a triple board certified gastroenterologist with over 20 years of clinical experience, and I'm convinced there's an epidemic of constipation out there. So let me show you how to tell and what it really means for your gut. And I'm going to be covering so much good stuff during the course of this video, but stick around to the end because I also have a brand new course that I can't wait to tell you about. Let me clear something up first, because most people, they have all kinds of different definitions for constipation. You've been taught that constipation means that you're not going enough. That's one version of it, but it's not the whole thing. When gastroenterologists diagnose constipation, we don't just count days. We look at a cluster of symptoms: straining, hard or lumpy stool, the feeling that you're never quite empty, having to sit and work for it, sometimes having to physically help it out. And yes, going fewer than 3 times a week, that qualifies. But also, any 2 of those happening regularly, and you meet the criteria that we actually use. Notice what's on that list. Only one of those is about frequency. The rest are about how it feels or what comes out. And that's why you can go every single day and still be constipated. And normal is a much wider range than most people realize. Anywhere from 3 times a day to 3 times a week is considered to be perfectly normal, as long as it's comfortable, formed, and complete. Here's why I care so much about this. Constipation is one of the most common gut problems out there. If you pool the studies together, about 1 in 7 adults has chronic constipation, and it's roughly twice as common in women. That doesn't even take into account the people who are slightly irregular, suffer gut symptoms, and may not qualify for the diagnosis, but they could use a little help moving things through. That's the epidemic I'm talking about. And a lot of those people have no idea, because constipation comes in many different patterns. So let me show you those patterns and see how many you recognize. Pattern 1, the obvious one, you're just not going. This is what everyone pictures when they think of constipation. Days go by, fewer than 3 bowel movements in a week. Most people catch this one on their own. They don't need to be told that they're constipated. Pattern 2, you go, but the stool is wrong. You might go every day and still be constipated because it isn't only how often, it's what's actually coming out. Hard, dry, lumpy, little pellets like rabbit droppings, or a stiff, cracked log. In the clinic, we use something called the Bristol stool scale. There's 7 types. And types 1 and 2 are those hard, lumpy stools. And if that's what you're passing, even daily, confirmed, that's constipation. Pattern 3, the small, unfinished poop. Okay, so you go, but it's small. And you worked so hard to get that little dinky poopster out. You're straining for it. And then you stand up and, number 1, clearly not satisfied. But number 2, you feel like there's still some more stuff in there and it hasn't come out yet. And then about 45 minutes later, you're back in the bathroom and finally some more stuff comes out. And I want you to hear this with total clarity. That second trip to the bathroom, that's not a second poop. That's the first poop. You just didn't finish it the first time. That feeling of never fully emptying is one of the most common signs of constipation. And almost nobody calls it constipation. Pattern 4, the one that looks like diarrhea. This is the one that fools people the most. It fools the person who's suffering with it, and it even fools their doctor. They have loose, urgent stool, and it comes out as diarrhea. So, isn't that the problem? Shouldn't you just take an anti-diarrheal medication? But no, there's something else going on here. Hard stool is actually backed up inside the colon, and the only thing that can slip past that hard stool is liquid. So watery stool sneaks around the cracks and the crevices, leaks around the blockage, and it ends up exploding out of the bottom like diarrhea. Underneath, it's a backed up, mega constipated colon. This is actually severe constipation. This is not mild, and we call it overflow. If you treat the diarrhea, you're actually going to make the problem worse. And the solution, paradoxically, is to get things moving. It's the only time that you're treating diarrhea by trying to force more stuff out. Pattern 5, the one that doesn't seem like constipation at all. Okay, picture this. Gas, bloating, fatigue, nausea or queasiness, getting full real quick. What I just described to you, what I hear as a gastroenterologist, classic constipation. Watch the timing. This is the key part. Often, these symptoms ease up right after a bowel movement. And then what you notice, if you pay attention, is that they slowly start to build back up until the next one. This is really important, so I'm going to say it again, okay? Because I just really want you to take this away from this video. If you have gas, bloating, fatigue, queasiness, nausea, getting full real quick, and the symptoms remit when you poop, that is a very strong argument that you're not emptying your bowels enough. You can sit just under the official line for constipation and still feel a lot better with more regularity than you've currently got. You need to hear this because you're the person who doesn't even realize that you need to poop more in order to feel better. Pattern 6, you only go with help. So maybe you do go and maybe it seems fine, but only because of your morning coffee or that laxative that you've been leaning on for years, or a scoop of fiber powder that you can't skip. And if you take those away, everything stalls. If you can't go on your own, that's worth paying attention to. Your gut is built to do this job itself. And what I'm saying to you is we clearly have room for improvement, whether it's in the gut microbiome or your motility if you're so dependent on outside sources to keep things regular. So there it is. 6 patterns. Most people only ever recognize the first one. Did you see yourself in any of these? If you saw yourself, you're not imagining it. And you're definitely not alone. I promise you that. I have taken care of tens of thousands of patients, and I've seen this, I don't even know how many times. It's crazy. So why does this happen? Even to people who go every day. The reason why is because constipation is complex. It's way more nuanced than we give it credit for. And it's almost never one problem. 3 things could be out of balance at the same time. 1 is motility. That is the muscular wave that moves things through your colon, and it could be running too slow. Number 2 is consistency. There isn't enough water in the stool, so then it becomes hard and dry. We want to prevent that. But number 3 is your gut microbiome. Let's not forget that they play an important role. Those gut bacteria, they make short-chain fatty acids and the signals that drive gut motility and keep things in balance. Take a zoom out for a moment and picture a car that can't work. It's not moving. Could be the engine, could be that we don't have any gas, could be the wiring. And in chronic constipation, it's the same general concept. It's usually not just one of them. That's why the random fixes keep letting you down. Something that's only targeting one thing, right? That laxative that you've taken for years, they're just addressing a single piece of the puzzle. This is a multi-part problem. And it's also why just eat more fiber advice can actually make some people worse. If slow motility is your real issue, piling fiber up on a stalled colon is like loading more cargo onto a truck that's already stuck. Fixing this for good means understanding your version of it and building the whole system around it, not just focusing on one specific thing. I'm not going to leave you with a problem and no first step. Here's where most people can start today. Hydration, water first. When you focus on this, especially early in the morning, it helps to get everything moving the way it's supposed to. Fiber only works if there's enough water in the bowel to work with. Fiber should be eased in slowly with water. You shouldn't be dumping it all in at once. A little bit more every couple of days. Berries, beans, oats, chia seeds, ground flax, vegetables. Real food comes first. Move your body. A short walk after your biggest meal can help the colon do its job. And if you use magnesium, make sure you're using the right form. For constipation specifically, I recommend magnesium oxide. It helps to pull water into the colon. Now there's other ones like magnesium glycinate and threonate, and they are wonderful, but not for this. In fact, I have an entire video all about magnesium in its many different forms, and it's worth checking out. I'll have it linked in the description below. And there's a product that I formulated myself that I'm excited about. It's called 38 Terra RCE, or Regularity and Constipation Ease. And it was created for exactly this multi-part problem. Magnesium to gently draw water into the colon, propel the stool through, a concentrated ginger to stimulate motility and get things moving, and a next generation postbiotic called planobiotic that supports the gut microbiome and gut serotonin production. 3 distinct angles for gut support because constipation is more than one thing at once. There's a link below if that's useful to you. Before we run, a few important caveats. If you've tried fiber, water, and magnesium and nothing's moving, that could be a more complicated problem. Like it could be a pelvic floor problem, a muscle coordination issue. And if that's the case, you can't just keep piling on the fiber. You could make it worse. That would be a reason to see a gastroenterologist. And if you have sudden, new, or severe constipation, especially with weight loss, bleeding, or pain, that is not a wait and see. That is a see your doctor and get in as soon as you can. If you recognized yourself in any of these patterns today, I have good news for you. First of all, you're not imagining it, and it is fixable. Start with water, the right fiber. That's the first step, and that's yours. But it's not going to work for everyone. Only those with mild constipation. And that's why I created a brand new course called the Constipation Protocol, where I can actually spend time with you to lay it all out. And therefore, you're going to go to a whole different level of learning. And if you enjoyed this video, subscribe. Gut health and the information that's out there, it's crazy sometimes. There is so much noise and fear and miracle cures and what is even going on. I don't really know what's going on with that crazy advice, but I do know what the evidence shows, and I'm going to keep being the voice of evidence-based medicine and nutrition and stand over here and also show you what you can actually do about it. Thanks for being here today. I'll see you next week.